Chick-fil-A's charitable arm gave nearly $1.2 million to the Marriage and Family Foundation. This has caused quite an uproar, especially among politicians who have made a pretty big deal out of it. As you know, the President of the United States has said that he supports gay marriage now, and a lot of gay people have been offended by Chick-fil-A's stance and the fact that their president has openly said that he supports traditional marriage. We have with us now the pastor of the Open Door Community Church, Randy McCain, to talk about this and to get the other side of the story from the gay community. Randy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Bob.
We appreciate you joining us. Well, what are your thoughts on this Chick-fil-A Appreciation Day?
Bad business for a CEO to make statements that offend such large portions of the public in their communities. Not only are gay and lesbian individuals affected, but friends and families of gays and lesbians. And I think I also heard that Mr. Cathy made it clear that those who are associated with his company are all married to their first wives. So I would think that if I were a heterosexual man or woman who had been divorced and had remarried, I probably too would think twice before I gave money to such an organization.
So you're not really angry with the comments that he made, you just think it was unwise as a businessman for him to make them?
Right, and but I too, I mean, as a gay person, my partner Gary and I have been together in a loving, committed, Christ-centered, faithful relationship for 20 years, and we spoke our vows of love to each other in a church in front of God and witnesses, and next week we're heading off to New York City to be married legally. Jay Baker, son of Jim and Tammy Faye, will be officiating, and, you know, as a gay man who respects my relationship, I am offended by those remarks, and I don't imagine that I would be laying down any more money at Chick-fil-A, but that's my personal view.
I was just going to ask you that. Will you then boycott Chick-fil-A for the rest of your life, do you think? And do you think others who are homosexual will do the same?
Well, I would just look at it this way. I mean, if you think about it, if you're a heterosexual couple who are married, and Mr. Cathy had made some kind of statement about and disparaged your relationship, would you be able to go in and support that business knowing how he has talked about something as precious to you as your marriage? So I would think it would be very difficult for gay people or those that love gay people to give money to him, knowing that so much of it is going to try to defeat gay marriage.
Does Mr. Cathy have the right to say what he said?
Sure. We're in America. I mean, this is not a totalitarian state. This is a place where, you know, you have the right to say what your beliefs are, very definitely. But I think it was pretty poor management for him to do that.
Do you think this harms gay people?
Absolutely. I think any time that you see, once again, gay people are being demonized, it does harm them. And, you know, I've heard a lot of Christians say that they're tired of being called a bigot because of their stance against gay marriage. Well, I'm tired of being called a pervert and an abomination because of who I love.
Has the situation been blown out of proportion, or do you think it should be receiving the kind of debate that it is?
I think we have reached a place with this whole issue, the gay issue, that I think it's a civil rights issue. I think we should have the same rights as our heterosexual friends. And I think that in all civil rights movements, there comes a time when people make statements against a minority that it becomes unpopular for you to make those kind of statements. And I think we are reaching that point in this struggle that we're in.
Do you think that those who are anti-gay are preaching hate?
As far as preaching hate, I would just ask you to think about what a gay person feels like, you know, as Christians. And let me just say that Mr. Cathy and I love the same God. we serve the same Savior, Jesus Christ. And Jesus, through his example and through his words, taught us to love others and to show love to them. And as a gay person, something as precious as your relationship, when people are disparagingly speaking of it, I mean, it feels like hate. It feels like they're coming against the very fabric of your family values. And so I think if they really want to teach love, as Jesus taught us to do, then they should think twice before they attack in that way.
Randy, thank you very much for spending time with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Bob.
Randy McCain, pastor of the Open Door